I think he really is slightly a dark horse for MVP, to be honest with you. It's been a while since we had a receiver for an MVP. Plethora of receiving opportunities here from IU, McCaffrey, Samuel, Kittle, um, Husek, uh, who had a decent game last time San Fran was in the Super Bowl. Rashid Rice, Kelsey, big names in the top names that we've seen in this league. And shout out to Travis Kelce actually coming out here and talking about that he didn't that he didn't invent the fade and how they put him on there on February 1st. He said it himself. He was like, "Really? They're gonna throw me to the wolves like that on February 1st?" I'm talking about how I got the fade. I love that by him.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And to do it on February 1st, to throw me to the wolves like that was messed up, man. I don't want anything to do with that one, man. I got a good fade if you need it, though. It's a 2 on top, a nice high to mid fade with a taper in the back. But I didn't invent that. I just asked for it.
Stand up move by him, even though he gets a lot of slack for his, for the what did he do that was all messed up? The pandemic thing with the COVID shot. How he wasn't against it. Now you see him on commercials, but stand up for that February 1st comment, man. I like that. So, but going with that, I think it's heavily juiced. Obviously, Kelce minus 166 here. I think there's some value in Rashid Rice here.
100%.
In my opinion, I think Kelsey's obviously going to be the focal point, and as you've seen over the last couple games, the tight end has gotten a little bit loose against San Fran, especially last game, right? Laporta had 8 or 9 catches for maybe 90 something yards. Laporta's a little bit of like Kelce. Obviously, Kelce to me is the greatest tight end ever. I think he'll break all these numbers. And when it's playoff time, when the lights are brightest, I think Shannon Sharp said this about both Mahomes and about both Kelce, specifically Kelce. You never seen Kelce have a bad game when the lights are bad, when bright, right? You never see, oh man, 87 ain't have a game today. He just didn't have it. He always shows up when the lights are the brightest, and I think that's no different here. And I think that's going to be a focal point for them to stop him. I believe he had 4 or 5 catches and 80-something yards last time they were in the Super Bowl versus the Niners. I would have to double check that. But going back to the original bet, I do like Rashid Rice over 6.5. I think there's some value here. I think he might actually really have a good game because he's going to be the number 2, and they're going to blanket Kelce as best they can to force somebody else to beat them. And I think Rashid Rice is going to be that option. I like him over 6.5. And then I actually like his alternate receiving yards as well. I can see him getting close to maybe like 80 yards in this game. I think he really is slightly a dark horse for MVP, to be honest with you. It's been a while since we had a receiver for an MVP. And I think he's a dark horse for an MVP. He could have an Edelman type game, like, 9 or 10 catches, 140 something yards, right? Maybe a touch here and there. The narrative would be Kelce, right? Because Taylor Swift won Album of the Year or whatever from a Grammy. So it makes sense to kind of them keep playing that, but I think there hasn't been a back-to-back quarterback MVP since Terry Bradshaw. So the odds are against Mahomes, even though it makes sense that it would be Mahomes. But I think if I'm going with my MVP lean, I think Rashid Rice has to have a good game. I like him over 80. I like him even to touch 100 possibly. I like him over 6.5 catches. I think Rashid Rice has a big game. So that is actually going to be a bet of mine over 6.5. And I know we talked about playing a little bit of gambling here. I'm gambling here. I'm going to go Rashid Rice over 100 yards for plus 300.
Dang. Go ahead, Sharp.
Every year,
Unless you ain't got much to talk about this one.
Every year, there's always somebody who shows up.
I mean, you're asking me about what prop I like a dark horse? Receptions. It's juiced, but Travis Kelce will definitely get 7 receptions. I mean, I don't
For sure.
I would. If you're looking for value, I would say the best value out there is there's a couple props. Total players with a reception over 13.5 plays 145.
Yeah, I just saw that.
That's
kind of low too.
Chiefs like to throw it to 7 or 8 guys every week. Niners like to throw it to 7 or 8 guys every week. As long as there's not a bunch of drops, that there should be 14 or 15 guys catching the ball there. And then I think Deebo Samuel at 20-1 is the only MVP bet to make. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game. If the Niners win it, I think it's probably because Deebo has a good receiving game and has a big run. And if that's the case and he scores 2 touchdowns and one of them's a game-breaking run, he probably wins MVP. So 20-1, that's who I'd be putting money on. Again, these aren't really bets. This isn't how I bet, but if I'm a listener out there that does like to sprinkle money on this is what I see Sharp would be recommending. I would be, if I'm going for a receptions prop, I actually like the over on both teams to have total receptions, and you get almost 1.5 to 1 on your money there. You just need 14 guys for a reception. And then, like I said, I like Deebo to be Super Bowl MVP, dark horse.
And that's the great thing about the Super Bowl. There's so many different opinions about it. Different places where we would play, like you said, Sharp, you typically don't go this wide in terms of your betting perspective, but I think it's good just to give, like, if I am playing this is where I'm looking at and this is where I'm leaning. Diddy, thoughts on anything from a receiving standpoint?
With Sharp, just quickly, I think that Deebo value, that money there for that possibility for MVP is great. I think you said, like, if the Niners are going to win, I think Deebo's going to have at least 10 to 12 touches, period. So at that point, that's whether it's receiving, running, rushing, and kick returning. I think or punt returning. He'll be on all those levels for this game. So I think that possibility is there. The value's there. And you can see that avenue of that happening. Most likely it's not going to go to Brock Purdy because I'm sure he's going to be probably managing the game more than anything else. And that's not a knock on Brock Purdy. I don't think he's going to be the reason why they're winning the game. And there'll be more electrical plays within the game that probably like a Deebo Samuels would be able to take multiple touchdowns, a rush or receiving, something like that. But I do like Rashee Rice. Like I said, I've been on the Rashee Rice since probably week 2. And I start seeing him kind of getting into the system with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's their ultimate utility guy. So for me, it's Rashee Rice over 6.5 receptions. I'm more on Rashee Rice getting over the 6.5 than I am with Travis Kelce. I know the idea of everything this year is about Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, and blah, 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 blah. I'm going against that. I'm not saying Travis Kelce is not going to have a good game. I'm not saying he's not going to score a touchdown. I just think that I think the Niners and those linebackers have seen Travis Kelce. Kyle Shanahan has been in this situation before against him just a few years ago, and they know how important Travis Kelce is to this offense. I think if I was a defensive coordinator, my number one job will be slowing down Travis Kelce. Is he an all-time great? Is he the greatest tight end of all time? He is. 7 receptions, I think, is a little high. He didn't have 7 last time they played. I don't think he's going to have 7 this year.
Yeah, but that was DeMeco Ryans. The Niners defense has taken a major step back at the coordinator position this year. Major. I mean, it's night and day.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I think
that's not debatable. That's not debatable.
I don't think they
doesn't lie. DeMeco Ryans was such a better coordinator than their current defensive coordinator. And the Achilles heel of the Niners this year is their defense. Their defense is not good. They're actually an offensive-driven team. They're not a defensive-driven team. That's not debatable either. Like, the tape doesn't lie. The Niners don't win on defense. The Niners win on offense. That's not arguable.
So I'm going to stick to my point as far as I don't think Travis Kelce gets over 7 receptions.
Oh, he's definitely going.
I think the defense has looked.
It's not even possible he goes under 7 unless he gets hurt.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Diddy.
It's just not.
I got you, Sharp. Go ahead, Diddy.
Okay. No, that's it. That's all. I said what I had to say
Oh, okay.
about Travis Kelce.
I was just thinking, because you guys got to remember, like I don't like taking shit that's juiced minus 160. That's why I can't be like, hey, you need to bet Travis Kelce. But like, if you like free money, Travis Kelce is going over 7 receptions unless he gets hurt. Like, it's not, I'm not even trying to say like it's even arguable. Like it's really not. Like he's
No,
going to have,
I agree with you,
he'll
Sharp.
probably have 9 or 10 receptions, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
no, I agree with you, Sharp. I think Diddy looks at it a little bit differently. And I'm basing it not just off, coordinators and tapes. I'm basing it off players that are similar in skill set to Kelce and what they've done, right? Like last game, Laporta had 97 yards and 9 catches. When they
Yeah,
faced
exactly.
Arizona and McBride had 10 catches and over 102
The
yards. So,
Niners secondary is not good.
yeah, no, I don't think they're that good.
No, they're not good.
And I
They're
think
below average.
yeah, and like I said, I think I think it is an easy bet to make. I just can't lay to minus 166. I
Yeah, I
agree with
agree.
you. So I mean,
I
it
just
is what it
don't like
is.
saying that Kelsey's going to get taken out of this game. Like, to me, Rice might still hit his props, but I think that's just because Mahomes might light up that secondary like a Christmas tree. And I could see Kelce and Rice both going for 100+ yards.